let's bring in Daniel Weiner, Director of Elections and Government with the Brennan Center for Justice. He joins us now. And Daniel, let's just start with your initial reaction when you heard about this dinner taking place this evening in Washington.
Well, thanks so much for having me on. Look, it's completely unprecedented to have a United States president attending a dinner like this for wealthy investors in a business that he owns who can pay hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars for access to the president. Let's be clear, of course, presidents do, other presidents and this president have had fundraisers for their campaigns and lavish dinners and the like, but to have it literally be for a business that's essentially putting money into the president's pocket, that's something new and unprecedented, and I think a lot of Americans would say pretty troubling.
And we heard the White House press secretary today say the president is doing this in his, quote, personal capacity, not his official capacity. Is there any precedent for that? Have other presidents done things similar to that in the past?
Well, look, what the press secretary was getting at is the president is actually exempt from many conflict of interest and ethics rules that apply to most other government officials. His immediate predecessors, going back to the 1960s and 1970s, voluntarily complied with a lot of those rules. So, you know, famously, President Jimmy Carter sold his peanut farm, and other presidents have divested from other assets that even presented the potential appearance of a conflict of interest. President Trump did not do that. He was not legally obligated to do that. But it does point to why other presidents have divested from those assets, because it does create at least a troubling appearance of people trying to gain access and influence with the president to affect government policy.
Now, we don't know exactly who's going to be on hand at this dinner. The press secretary also got a question about that, if they would release the full list, and got a non-committal answer. But there are reports that many of the individuals are foreign. Does that present a specific type of risk, the fact that so many of the folks potentially in attendance tonight are from outside of the United States?
Well, look, it's striking that in this country, foreign nationals are not allowed to make campaign donations. So if many of these individuals, assuming they are foreign nationals, would not be permitted to donate to the president's campaign, because we think our top elected officials should be accountable primarily to the American people, not to foreign individuals or governments. But these same people can, of course, purchase the ability to be attending this dinner where they will have access to the president. So I do think it raises some unique concerns. There is actually a provision in the Constitution called the Foreign Emoluments Clause that states that the president can't receive, and other government officials can't receive, a benefit from a foreign government. We don't know if there are any attendees at this dinner who are representatives of governments, but the overall spirit of the Constitution, of our laws, is that we want presidents to work for the American people. We do not want to have that sort of foreign influence, and this certainly raises exactly that concern.
And we didn't even get to the Qatari jet, ending on that point. Daniel Weiner with the Brennan Center, thank you for your insights. We'll have you back, sir.